Welcome back. In this tutorial, we're going to cover get hooks and why you should be using them. Get hooks are a built-in feature in Git. Get hooks are scripts that run before or after certain events are triggered. If the get hooks script fail, then it prevents the action from happening. For example, you can prevent any code from being pushed if it fails running a lint script or your automated test fail. There is two groups for get hooks: server-sided hooks and client-side hooks. Server-side hooks are triggered before or after certain events or actions happen on your remote Git repository. Client-side hooks are the same thing, but they're triggered on your local Git repository. For example, let's say you have some files that you want to commit and push to your remote repository. On your local repository, before your code is committed, a pre-commit hook runs. If it fails, you can't commit code. You can use the pre-commit hook to check for code standards by running, for example, your lint scripts. If your pre-commit hook passes, then your code is committed to your local branch. After your code is committed, a post-commit hook runs. Now, you can use this hook to run, for example, unit tests or other tasks that you want before code is actually pushed to your remote repository. Once your code is pushed to your remote repository, you have a pre-receive hook that runs before your repository is updated. If your pre-receive hook fails, then the code push is rejected. Finally, once all this is done, you have a post-receive hook that runs as well. You can use this hook to send notifications or anything else after your code is pushed and received. You can also do things like run deployment scripts or any other custom script. This is just an example. There are a lot of other hooks that we will briefly cover. There is a lot of reasons why you would want to use get hooks. Get hooks can greatly increase your productivity and save you a lot of time. You can also use get hooks to automatically run custom scripts that can do literally anything you want every time code is committed. If you're using a CI/CD pipeline, then you could use get hooks to reduce the number of failures that run on your pipelines by running your pipeline's tasks on the developer's machine before code is committed to your remote repository and triggering your pipelines. You can also use get hooks to enforce standards, detect errors, and prevent bad code from being committed or pushed to your remote repository. Client-side hooks run locally, so if you have Git installed, then you're all set. Otherwise, you will want to install Git. If you don't know how to install Git, then I recommend you watch our Git crash course tutorial video. So let's go ahead and create ourselves a new directory here. And I'm gonna call this Git Hooks Tutorials. And the first thing we want to do is we want to initialize a new Git directory. So we do that by writing git init. When you initialize a new repository by running git init, Git populates for you your hooks directory with sample scripts. So if we see here, we have this new Git folder created for us. Now, this is a hidden file. If you're on Windows and you don't see it in your file explorer, then you need to go to click on Start, type folder, and go to the file explorer options. And from here, you want to go to View, and you want to make sure you have the hidden files, Show Hidden. Now, if we go inside here, this is basically where Git stores everything on your local repository. Now, since we never actually store our Git folder inside our remote repository, any change or update you make inside this folder is ignored by your gitignore file. So all the changes you make here will not be stored in your remote repository. So if someone cloned your repository, the hooks will not be cloned with them. If you want to create client-side hooks and have them attached to your project, then you will need to create a script that adds your hooks inside your get hooks folder. If you have an install or a build script for your project, then you can attach that script there. Otherwise, you can add it to, for example, Composer file and run it every time someone runs Composer install. Now, let's go ahead and see what's inside our hooks folder. See here, we have all our predefined hooks for us. These are all sample scripts for each action. So you can see here, for example, this is the pre-commit hook. To activate any of these hooks, you will need to remove the .sample from the name. Now, we're gonna cover these in a bit, but let's go ahead and just take a quick look what's inside here. So you can see your Git hooks are nothing but a bash file, a script. You don't need to use this. This is just an example. You can erase this and add your own script. It's also worth mentioning that since we're inside our pre-commit hook, this is our action, pre-commit. If inside this file we have an exit code, for example, let's say exit here, or we exit our script anywhere, the hook will fail and it will prevent the action from happening. In this case, the pre-commit. This runs before a commit happens. Let's go ahead and open our project directory inside our code editor. I am using Visual Code. If you're using Visual Code and you have your directory open, you most likely will not see your Git folder here. That's because by default, this folder is excluded. So let's temporarily remove the exclude rule. So we click on File, Preference, and we go to Settings. From here, you want to search for files.exclude. You should be able to see that the Git folder is excluded. Once you remove this pattern, then you should be able to see it inside your Explorer tree. So let's go ahead and do that. And now you can see in here, we have Git. It doesn't really matter which Git remote you use. For this tutorial, I am using Bitbucket. Before we start adding hooks, let's go ahead and create a remote repository so we can test our hooks. So in Bitbucket, all what you have to do is click on the create and new repository. I'm gonna call this repository Git Hooks Demo. And we have to select a project. You can create a new one or select an existing one. Now I'm going to copy the URL here and we're gonna go back to our terminal. From here, we wanna write git remote add origin and we wanna paste our URL. The pre-commit hooks runs right before every commit. To create a pre-commit hook, we're going to rename the file inside hooks. So you could see it here, pre-commit.sample. We're gonna remove the .sample part from it. Now, let's go ahead and erase everything inside here. And let's do an echo. Pre-commit hook. Now let's go ahead and test this out. So we're gonna make a commit so we could see if this echo will display right before we make a commit. Now I'm gonna go inside my folder and I'm gonna create a text file. And I'm going to just add some text in here, and let's go ahead and save and push this change or commit. So we want to do git add and git commit. And let's add a message, test push. And you can see here your pre-commit echo ran here. So your script runs before the commit happens. Now, to prevent a commit from happening if it does not meet a certain criteria, so let's say before someone makes a commit, you want to check maybe for like a lint script. If the lint script failed, you want to exit. So to prevent someone from making a commit in your script, you write exit 1. Now let's test this out. So I'm gonna go back to my text file and I'm going to make another change. Let's go ahead and save. So I'm gonna add my change and I'm gonna make a new commit. And you can see here that the commit did not go through. Now, in some situations, you wanna actually skip the pre-commit checks. To do that, so let's go back to our code editor and make another change. And to skip right now this pre-commit, we write git add as usual. And now for the commit, we want to use the no verify flag. And you can see we skipped that pre-commit hook. The commit message hook is invoked by git commit. This relates to the commit message. You can use this hook to check if the commit message meets your standard. For this example, let's write a quick rule to prevent any message from being empty. So for my pre-commit, I'm going to erase the exit and I'm gonna just keep the echo. Actually, let's just fix it up quickly. Now, I'm going to rename our commit message sample hook here, and we're gonna remove the sample to activate the hook. And I'm going to erase all this. Every time you make a commit in Git and you write a message, you will have this file here, commit message. So you can see commit_edit message, and this will contain your commit message for your last commit. Now, what you want to do inside your hook is you want to read this file and you want to make sure that this text here meets your standard. So to do that, we're gonna declare a new variable. Let's call it commit message. And we're going to use bash. We can use cat, and inside our git folder, we wanna, let's do this, git. We wanna read the commit edit message file. Now, let's write a no empty commit message rule. So we write an if statement, and let's end the if here. So we're gonna make sure that the commit message does not equal empty string, or it could be anything. And if this is the case, then we wanna echo must have a commit message, and we wanna exit. This is only an example just to demonstrate how you could read the message here. Let's save this and let's make a commit. So I'm gonna change this again here, and let's go ahead and add our work. Let's commit our changes, and you can see that our commit failed, and this is our script. The pre-push commit runs right before our code is pushed to our remote repository. You can use this hook to run your unit tests or any other task. So let's go ahead and activate our pre-push hook, and we gotta erase the sample. And let's go ahead and erase all this. And for now, I'm just going to write echo And let's say before our code is pushed. And for this example, I'm just going to write exit 1. So let's make sure that we prevent our code push. Let's go ahead and make a quick change here. And let's go ahead and push our change. So let's go back to our terminal. And we haven't really made any pushes yet. So this would be our first push. So I'm going to write get push, and we're going to use the U flag to track our remote master branch. And I'm going to force this. And we have to mention origin master. And I had this pop out here. So if you don't see this pop out, then it means that you configured get to display the username and password inside your terminal. So see here, we have an error. Now let's go ahead and bypass this. So I'm gonna use the no verify flag. And we made our push. I hope you guys get the point. It's pretty redundant for me to go through each single hook here. These are all the hooks that you could use. They are all listed inside here. If you guys have any questions, feel free to write a comment. If you guys found this tutorial useful, then I would appreciate if you hit the like button. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel to stay up to date with our latest training videos.